Welcome to Lab 7. What do we do in Lab 7? Well, all we're doing is we're making the left leg, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste the right leg armature and modify the color for the left leg. So what I do is I open up my file. Obviously I've got mine open already. And you go into your walk cycle. And then you go to File and Save As, and you're going to call this Walking Character L Lab 7. So we'll just save this as Lab 7, click Save, and we're on to the next step. Well, if we're going to copy the armature, obviously we're going to have to do the same thing to the left leg that we did to the right. So why reinvent the wheel? We're just going to copy and paste the armature we created for the right leg as the left leg. So you're going to make a new left leg layer so you can paste the first armature onto it. So as soon as you you paste the new armature, there's going to be a new armature layer. And you're going to put that armature on that layer. And then you're going to create the left leg layer so that you have a place to paste that armature. So as soon as you pasted the armature and created an armature 2 layer, then you're not going to need the left leg layer anymore. Just like we did with the right leg. It sounds a little complicated, but it isn't. Okay, I lost the movie, so I'm going to have to back up. So what I've done so far, I created a layer for the left leg, and I clicked here in the armature 1 layer, and then I clicked a new layer to create a new layer above the armature layer and called that one left leg. Then I double click layer 5 and change the name. So what I have to do is copy and paste the armature from the armature 1 layer to the left leg layer. So I have to click on the armature 1 layer. I click over here in frame 1. So I click the edit menu, click copy. On the left leg layer, I click frame 1. Then I click the edit menu and I click paste in place. So it's going to paste it right on top. So it doesn't look very different right now. We're going to make it different in just a minute. So I got a couple things. First we're going to do cleanup here. Pull this up. I click on my left leg layer that I don't need anymore. Just delete it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide and lock a layer. So I'm not going to go on the armature 1, so I'm going to lock it and I'm going to hide it. The little trick we're going to show you is how to select a symbol. You know, because the bone takes up so much of the leg, you want to select the symbol, you don't want to select the leg. So to select the symbol instead of the bone, just hold down the control key when you click the symbol with the selection tool. So now let's change these colors. So I make sure the selection tool is selected. I click on a white space on the stage, just unselects everything. Now I press and hold the control key while I click the upper red leg instance on the stage to select it. You know what? I need to zoom in. Okay, in the Properties panel, the instance name at the top says IK node 8. I guess this one says 2, right? When you name this, made the symbols into an armature, Flash gave them a new instance name automatically. You won't change the name. You're just going to change the color. So in the Properties panel, under Color Effect, click that down, and I'm going to click Tint. You go Tint, And I'm going to change this to purple. Now I unselect everything. I click the orange lower leg. And I change that one blue. Now I click on the stage to unselect anything, and I change my foot. And make that bright green. So what happens in Lab 8? We just make the left leg so it moves the opposite of the right leg, so it will resemble what happens when you walk. So now what we're going to do is we're going to save this new, if you're not in here already, what you need to do is you need to open up your document and make sure that you're in walk cycle. So what we're going to be doing next is we're going to be saving this file, save as. Remember, we're saving it as layer 8, or lab 8. Just change the 7 to 8 and click enter. Now let's talk about changing the poses. You know that when you walk, one leg is doing the opposite thing of the other leg. So how do you make that in animation? So you just make sure that you copied and pasted the armature onto the layer. You copied the frames and the poses from the first armature. So you got to make the poses so they're opposite the other armature layers poses. So you're going to reveal the right leg armature again, but you're going to keep that layer locked so you don't change it accidentally. So what we're going to make sure that we're going to do is we're going to make sure that when one leg is bent, the other one is straight, and vice versa. So the left leg should be straight in frame 1, and it should be bent on frame 12 when the right leg is straight. So we're going to straighten the left leg in frame 1 and bend it in frame 12 so that the legs are bent and straight at opposite times. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unhide the armature 1 layer, and I'm going to click in the armature 2 layer, and I'm going to straighten this leg. Now I'm going to straighten this leg. So I bring this down, and I bring this, and make sure that I have this completely straight. There we go. Next thing I'm going to do is click on frame 12, and I'm going to move this. I'm going to put this up here. I'm getting ready to take the step there, so that's how I get him ready to take the step on 12. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the pose from frame 1 to frame 24. So I'm going to click on frame 1. So in frame 1 I hold down the control key and I click frame 1 and armature 2. Then in armature 2 layer I'm going to right click frame 1 and I'm going to click copy pose. Then I'm going to select frame 24, hold down the control key, click frame 24. Then I'm going to right click layer 24 and click paste pose. The leg should now be straight on frame 1 and frame 24. So now if I run my movie, the legs will bend and straighten it up in times, but they will still move forward and backward at the same time. I'm going to change that. So now we're going to go in frame 6 and we're going to put that left leg back. Click on frame 6. Click my free transform tool thing here. And I'm just going to move this joint just a little bit back like that. Okay, now I'm going to click the selection tool. And I'm just going to move him back. we go. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to fix layer 18. So I click layer 18 here. In the Tools panel, I'm going to click the Free Transform tool. This will let me move the entire leg at the same time. So if you don't have a black box around this, click in layer 18. And that'll put it all around that. So let me get my four-headed arrow here. Move it slightly forward. I just need to click on the arrow. I move this leg forward. Make sure that if your legs come apart that you do a Control-Z and fix that. So now we'll trust our movie. Do the Control-Enter. So now we're going to put the leg behind the body so it looks a little more natural. So now of course what I need to do is I need to drag drag the Armature 2 layer underneath the body. Just drag it and drop it. And so now let's run the movie, see what it looks like. There you go, looks a little more natural, doesn't it? Now what you need to do is check your work and make sure that none of your joints are coming apart. If they are, go and fix them. What I would do is I just take the I just drag them into the particular area so that they wouldn't be coming apart. So you're going to save the file and you're done with Lab 8. In Lab 9 we're going to add a forward motion. So right now we're inside the symbol, so we're going to go outside the symbol. We're going to do a walk cycle loop, and then we're going to animate our character to walk across the screen instead of walking in place. Okay, let's save this. And I'm going to call this level 9 because we're in level 9. And make sure you're inside the walk cycle. And we're all ready to begin. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to trim some extra frames here. So we're looping. You can see there's a hesitation in the loop because we're repeating frame 24 and frame 1, so we're going to trim off that frame 24. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a keyframe on 23 and eliminate frame 24. So I'm going to add these keyframes to frame 23. So I'm going to hold Control key, click in frame 24. You go Insert, Timeline, add a keyframe, or you can go F6. So I click over here. I'm going to go F6. I'm going to click on this last one. I go F6, function 6. So now it's time to trim the layers. So I'm going to hold down the Control key and click frame 24 on this top layer. And I'm going to right click. I click Remove Frame. So that one's gone, so I do the same thing in the next two layers. Remove Frame. Hold down my Control key, click, right click, Remove Frame. Next thing I'm going to do is save and close my project. So I go File, Save, I go File, close. I'm going to create a new movie. Make sure you chose Action Script 3. Go File, Save As, and I'm going to call this one Walk Movie. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up this movie that we made, this animation that we made, into our timeline here. We're going to import it directly into our new project. So I'm going to import the Walk Cycle project as an external library. So I can go File, Import, Open External Library, and I'm going to get that walking character L9. Now I'm going to put that walk cycle right in the center, and I'm going to close my library. So now I'm going to add a forward motion to my character. So my timeline, I'm going to double click layer 1 and call it character. So the timeline on the character for layer, I'm going to click frame 1. I insert a motion tween. Now I'm going to do is hold down the shift key. I'm going to drag my character just off stage to the right. We're holding the shift key down does is it makes your character move in a straight line. So now I'm going to test my movie. That was way too long, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to point to the last frame until my pointer becomes a double-headed arrow. I'm going to drag it all the way up to 60. Now I'm going to test my movie. Now sometimes there's a trouble with the transformation point. Now this transformation point, this white circle, should be centered on the character. If you have problems with the transformation point and the character accidentally is moving to the wrong places, there's some things you can do to fix this. So if that happens to you, if your character gets separated from his transformation point and moved to the wrong place in the motion tween, what you have to do is you click your free transform tool and then double click the transformation point to reset it. Then you would click the transformation tool, the selection tool, and move the character back to the correct position on the first and last frames of the motion tween. Now it's time to publish your movie. So click File, Publish Settings. Okay. So you guys are in the version 6, you know you got to press the SWF file, right? Okay. Otherwise, what you do is you click in HTML, make sure that it's on left and top. This is if you got 5 like I do. And then you click OK, or actually pick OK. Then you click File, Publish.